In 2004, Staff Sergeant Matthew Maupin of Batavia, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati, was listed as missing or captured after his Iraq-based unit came under an attack from rocket-propelled grenades. 4 years later, a tip led the Army to find Staff Sergeant Maupin's remains. During that time, the local news in Cincinnati followed the story, and when he was finally brought home, there was enough support and interest to have a very public memorial service in the Great American Ballpark, the home of the Cincinnati Reds. When news of this memorial service was publicized in the spring of 2008, my husband Micah, our classmate Daniel Schwartz, and I decided to attend. For us, it would be our first and possibly only opportunity to witness a memorial service for a soldier who served in Iraq or Afghanistan. It was a chance to join with our community and city to mourn for this young man and to honor his sacrifice. Imagine the scene. Walking up to the baseball stadium, instead of t-shirt stands and joyful noise, people walked in near silence. There were the Westboro Baptist Church protesters, carrying horrible signs suggesting that Staff Sergeant Maupin's death was a result of homosexuality and a punishment for sins. And in front of them was a phalanx of motorcyclists whose mission is to protect grieving families from seeing these protesters. Inside the ballpark, we received memorial cards and programs. The concession stands were open, and some families were getting lunch before the ceremony. We found ourselves relatively high seats, better to see both the ceremony and the crowd. What came next was one of the most thought-provoking experiences of my life. A Christian military chaplain remembered Matt and talked about how we could celebrate that he is now with God. The chaplain asked people to repent and pray to Jesus, even saying, "This is a Christian country, and I think we can talk in Christian terms." The mother in front of us explained to her daughter that we were there to celebrate our freedom. We stood up to sing, "God Bless the USA." I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died who gave their life for me, with cheering and applause. Over and over, the theme was of freedom, of celebration that Staff Sergeant Maupin made America safer and better through his service and his death. Everyone in the stadium seemed to be proud of America. Flags waving, singing the national anthem and God Bless the USA with cheers at just the right times. Yellow ribbons, wearing red, white, and blue. This was the majority of the American pride I saw that afternoon, the outer fixtures of American identity. While I was moved by the way our city came together to honor Staff Sergeant Maupin, I felt on the outside in many ways. While we shared the same stadium, each attendee brought their own values and thoughts about America. While the service should be a Christian one, since that was the Maupin family's tradition, I was disconcerted by the statement that America is a Christian country. For me, it isn't. Instead, I think of America as a place loved and supported by people of any number of religions. I wondered about what that ceremony would look like if that had been a Jewish soldier, and I was certain it would look different. As a proud Jew and a proud American, I felt on the outside. For me, as I sang along with the same lyrics of God Bless the USA, I remembered singing these same words every morning in school during the first Gulf War. I thought back to September 11th, 2001, when it seemed all barriers were erased and we were a unified country. Even as we were afraid, we were determined to come back stronger and better than ever as we were connected through our shared identity as Americans. Fast forward to today. We are a very different America than we were in 2001 or even in 2008. There are serious challenges facing our country and its citizens and the world as a whole. While a Fox News poll on July 4th of this year said that 68% of Americans are proud of America, recent polls indicate that we are not happy with our government. It is an uncertain time for many Americans. We wonder about the economy, our schools, our health care, the 2012 election, and the well-being of our communities. In the past year, your clergy have fielded calls from community members, many Jewish and some not, asking for rent assistance, help for housing, resources for health care, and sometimes just some food for the next few days. I know that many people here may be approaching this new year feeling the weight of this uncertainty on their shoulders in some way. I want to pause for a moment to say something very clear. I am talking about America. I am talking about how we as Jews can think about America and what our responsibilities might be. I am not talking this morning about specific candidates nor endorsing any particular party. Thinking back for a moment to that memorial service, America was portrayed in Christian terms because of the family. For many Americans, our national identity is connected strongly to our religious ideals and values. Particularly at uncertain times, when we worry about what the future may bring for our country, we can turn to our core values and beliefs. Whether we are Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Baha'i, or any of the other religions we are free to observe here in America, or atheist, our American identity is, I believe, connected in some way to our religious values and viewpoint. Therefore, as Jews, when we think about our Americanism, when we think about America and how we are proud of it, we can begin in Jewish terms. For our community, we can also add the layer of being Reform Jews. Ultimately, Reform Judaism is a question of essence, of core truths. When a Reform Jew or a Reform Jewish community makes a decision, we weigh values in our minds. We ask questions such as, what is the essence of the commandments to keep kosher? How can I apply these ideas to my life, even if it doesn't lead me to keep kosher in the traditional manner? Or, the Torah speaks about homosexuality in very negative terms, but we believe that each person is made in the image of God. How can I read the Torah in a way that feels inclusive? These and other questions challenge us to find meaning in our lives by looking at the essence of Jewish commandments and values. There are many core truths and values from Judaism that speak to our identity as Americans. Judaism prizes dialogue. We've heard 2 Jews, 3 opinions. While this is often a joke, it is also a core truth. Judaism seeks knowledge through dialogue. Even when we do not find one clear answer, we learn from the journey. Much of Jewish law that we have today comes from a process of she'elot u'tshuvot, questions and answers, or responsa. As questions arise, we sift through sources from Torah until the modern time to formulate an answer, and the response is essentially a centuries-long dialogue. In America, we believe in dialogue too. We have the political process, community organizing, and grassroots advocacy to start the conversation. Democracy means we all have a say. America means that we do not need to say the same things. The frustrating beauty of our country is that each of us has the right to speak. Even if we sometimes wish we could stop the speech that is flowing freely, it is part of our Americanism. Think of last year when Glenn Beck organized his Restoring Honor rally and Jon Stewart his Rally to Restore Sanity. Or think about the Wall Street protests happening around our country as we speak. Whether we agree or not, we can be proud that our country is one that supports freedoms of speech, assembly, religion, and others. Judaism believes that while the world is broken, it is up to us to mend it. The value of tikkun olam, the repairing of our world, means that instead of simply waiting for the world to be better, we take action. We do not rely only on prayer. We are partners with God in making change. Whether it is the truck outside filled with food for the Midtown Assistance Center or the support we give to Israel, we do our part to make the world more whole. The same is true for America. We try to be a good neighbor to other countries, we offer help in times of crisis, and more locally, we try to address the problems that our country faces. Even if it feels outdated, there has always been the idea of the American dream. The promise that America offers a better life for those who come here with its freedoms and prosperity. Yet, many people feel their American dream has been shattered by economic problems and unemployment. We have people who are hurting, who are in need of help for basic needs of clothing and food and housing. 1 in 6 homes are below the poverty level right now. And we have citizens who are looking for ways to improve their communities and school and solve other problems we face. In America, there is a belief that we will repair these problems and restore ourselves to wholeness. Government does a lot, but that is not the only solution for these issues. Community organizations and the work of people through their churches, synagogues, and other religious institutions help to address the critical needs in our communities. Whether it is through government, community organizations, or religious institutions, we each have a role in making things better. As Reformed Jews, we believe in being inclusive. Our congregations are welcoming of the diversity of Jews who seek a spiritual home. When we teach and we speak, we recognize that there are members of our community who are supportive and involved in Judaism, but not Jewish themselves. We seek to build bridges with religious communities and organizations which share our commitment to building a better world. We believe that there are many paths to seeking truth. We understand God, Torah, and Israel as our core beliefs, and at the same time we respect that Christians, Muslims, and others have their own sacred texts and ways to find meaning.